Hi everybody, I am Sarah with the Trains and I am here at RSPB Lakenheath Fen, ready to answer some more of your questions that you asked me for my 1000 subscriber Q&A. I still have quite a lot left actually. Favourite train operating company? Transport for Wales. I just love them. I just do. Favourite classic train? I think I answered this with when I said Mallard about my favourite locomotive, and I think in terms of rolling stock as in carriages and stuff, there is a 1920s quad car set at the North Norfolk Railway that I really love. Favourite modern train? Gotta be the 755. What is the longest train journey you've ever been on? It's not actually that long. It's from home to home, so from Norwich to Stoke-on-Trent. It's about 4.5 hours. So not really that long, but I do hope to do Norwich to Liverpool Lime Street at some point. What railway magazines do you buy/read? I buy Railways Illustrated. I'm actually subscribed to that, so I get that through the post every month. I absolutely love it, and I usually have a copy in my backpack. Do I? Yes, I do, and my fancy Bic pen has attached itself for some reason. What, in your opinion, is the downside to being a YouTuber/vlogger? I would say it's probably because you see yourself on screen a lot. I think you can end up with a bit of a negative self-image because you're always watching yourself, and I think, for me, I think I see the imperfections in myself, so there's perhaps a negative self-image is one of them, and unfortunately negative comments do come up and you do have to be ready for them. I don't know why people feel the need to be like that, but that is a definite downside. Now, because I need to really not miss my train from Lakenheath heading back in the Norwich direction, I think we'll continue this Q&A at Wyndham.
Welcome to the service of Great Land.
Wait, this isn't Wyndham. Well, as you've probably and quite accurately observed, the second half of this Q&A video is not taking place at Wyndham. And here's a little clip to explain why. The train that I was supposed to be getting from here to Norwich has been cancelled. I was going to hop off at Wyndham and film other stuff at Wyndham, but I'm not going to Wyndham. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go and take a nice little walk to somewhere I can sit and answer questions. Oh, I think this sign is new. It's all about the history of Brundle Garden Station. That's cool. Okay, next question. What area of Stoke-on-Trent are you from? Well, I was born in the city, but I actually grew up in a little speck on the map village, a little bit outside of the city boundary. So my address said Stoke-on-Trent, although it was technically the Staffordshire Moorlands. But a lot of people don't really know where the Staffordshire Moorlands is, and I discovered when I went to university that a lot of people don't even know where Stoke-on-Trent is. It's kind of like when somebody is from somewhere like Blowfield and they say Norwich. On to the next question. Which do you prefer? Modern post-privatisation loco units and carriages or British Rail era stock? I have to say definitely British Rail era. The Class 90s and 91s, the Mark III carriages, and of course in terms of locos the Class 37s. It's got to be. I was born in the British Rail era. My earliest railway memory comes from the British Rail era. It's a bit of a no-brainer for me. What's one country outside of your own you would like to go to in order to experience its railways? feel like I might have answered this question in part 1, or a similar question at least. The USA. I would definitely say the USA. Do you ever want to have a model railroad or join a model railroad club? Now, as you can tell from the wording, this has come from an American subscriber. I would say never, because I don't have a model railway at the minute. It's not something that I've got planned in my immediate future. I'm really impressed with the layouts that people come up with. And yeah, they are absolutely incredible. There are these little dot matrix signs that I encountered at the North Norfolk Railway, and I want to get those just for the sake of having them. I'll like put them on my desk or something, just because I think they're really cool. So in the future, maybe I will have a model railway. So let's see. What apps do you use on your phone for train spotting? I use an app called Trainspotter, very original title. That is for Android, because I am not an iPhone user. I just prefer Android stuff. I think there is a similar app on iPhone. I find Trainspotter really easy to use. It's a very simple format. It's just you put in the number and obviously the location where you've seen it and the date, and it logs it for you. The app will also tell you information about who is currently operating the train and where it lives, essentially, where it is based. Sometimes the information can be a little out of date. But, you know, it's still a good app, I would say. It, just as a basic app for if you're out and about and you maybe haven't got a notebook on you, just to make a little note. And if a train has a name, it tells you what the name is in case you haven't spotted it. So the final question of this Q&A is a nice meaty one that I have saved. Do you think a love of railways is linked to nostalgia and need to go back in time as a feeling of comfort? Well, that's given me a lot to think on. I would say yes and no, because I think it really depends where your interest in the railways comes from. I think people who are more interested in steam, for example, or maybe heritage diesel, that can, I think, come from maybe wanting to relive the trains of their younger years if they remember the steam era. It can also be a way of looking back, whether you remember it or not, to a time that's considered to be a simpler way of life. Some people would say it's going back to when they feel like the trains were more reliable than they are today. For other people, it can definitely be a love of history that leads them to the heritage side of things. That's certainly what it is for me. I love the history of the railways, and to me, learning about the heritage stock is fascinating in that way. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the sights, sounds and smells of a heritage station and of steam locomotives particularly. There is nothing quite like the whistle of a steam locomotive and the smell of smoke and getting a speck of coal dust on your face. So maybe it is a bit of nostalgia in a sense, as well as a love of history. Now, the reason I said no as well is because I think, particularly for people who more enjoy the more modern side of things, the modern DMUs, EMUs, etc., that can come, I think, more from a love of travel, especially for people who get excited when a new type of train comes out. So it is a bit of both. I certainly have a love for the heritage stuff, and I definitely have a love for the modern stuff as well, because there is nothing quite like travelling by train. So I think that's a really complicated question to answer, and yeah, I think that's a good one to end this Q&A on. So that's all from me for now. I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who watches, likes, comments, subscribes, everybody who supports me on Ko-fi and on Patreon. You all make this channel so worthwhile, and I'll see you next time for another railway adventure. Bye. As always, an extra special thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon, whose names are on screen right now. You really do help keep this channel going. If you'd like to become a patron, there is a link in the description below.